Hi, I'm Brian with Pioneer Builders. I'm a second generation builder, and this channel is devoted to all things design and construction. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about a product called Dorken Delta Dry and Lath. I hope you learned something. So what is this Delta Dry and Lath? It's this product right here. We at Pioneer Builders really like products that do more than one function, and that's what this does for us. We're putting this on before we put a masonry adhered product. In this case, we're going to be installing an actual brick, mutually used as the color from Mutual Materials, and it's a thin brick. What that means is we don't have to have a footing. It can just adhere straight to this. The lath actually provides for the lateral support in order to hold that brick up against it. The dimple product is back here. That's really the dry part of the product. And that membrane helps to allow airflow in the back, as well as to keep things drier, more pressure equalized between the against the wall, behind the brick, so to speak, behind this membrane, and to the outside. That helps just keep the wall safer. Now let's really focus on the product. If you look at the white part, that's the lath. That's fiberglass, means it's not like chicken wire. It will never rust. That provides the lateral support so that the thin brick can adhere to it. Then behind it, you can see the dimples. So those dimples will touch the wall, but then there's plenty of space around that, plenty of voids. And this allows for really good drying potential. At the bottom of this assembly, you can see that we have flashing, and then we use a flexible flashing on top of that. It's best to leave the bottom 1 foot uninstalled, depending on which trade is actually doing this installation. This will allow for the next level of flashing to be installed. I'll probably do a very brief video on that in the future. Let's get a closer look behind this at the actual product on this side. Now you can see those dimples. Something else you'll see is this bug screen. That bug screen, once this is all attached, will prevent any critters from getting up in there and potentially causing damage to the wall. I'd like to show you some of the elements of this doorbell block that we have built. You see the blue wire coming out is the doorbell wire, but take a look at the thickness of the block here. It has to be thick in order to accommodate not only the Delta Dry and Lath, but also the thin brick material itself. Then over the top, we have the rigid metal flashing, and then behind that, we have the flexible flashing. Now in this particular case, it's actually concrete somewhere up into this area. I'll talk about that a little bit more in the next segment. It just so happens that we're building the same floor plan next door to the house that we were just at. Now you can really see the structure behind the dry and lath. We have a couple of 2-foot courses of concrete. That's because this is the basement of a 3-level building. We're in a high seismic zone, and so we have a lot of extra concrete. And now you can see why it was that there was concrete behind that doorbell block. Again, it's a reverse plan, and so that doorbell block is over on the right side of this one. We have a WRB already integrated in the Huber zip system sheathing here. So the WRB side of the Delta Dry and Lath isn't as important for us. We're already perfectly protected from any liquid water. Well, now I hope you have a good idea as to why we use the Dorken Delta Dry and Lath. Yes, it has the WRB on it, but I'm not quite as concerned about that because we've got so much concrete here, and then we've got the zip system above that. Really, when you look at it, it's mostly protected. We've got cantilevers hanging over, but even so, you sort of only have one chance to get this right. There are various ways that you can do your masonry. I just really like this assembly. One thing I will note is that we had to use split drive anchors, which involved in this case drilling and then hand nailing those in because of the concrete. You probably have other options out there depending on your fasteners and that type of a thing. Make sure you get your spacing correct. Whether it's you who's doing the installation or the masonry, you just want to make sure that you have that laterally supported so that nothing falls away from the wall. So again, I really like the bug screen at the bottom. I like that air gap that comes all the way through, almost like a matrix behind the entire thing. And then that fiberglass mesh, I think, is also really nice to have instead of worrying about metal that could over time rust out and then lose the strength of the assembly. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, I'm Brian with Pioneer Builders. This channel is devoted to all things design and construction, and I hope you learned something today.